Ah, hi, welcome. I never quite know how long the delay is going to be before it connects. Whoa. But I'm going to assume that it is live now and you're connected and we can see each other. Well, that's a lie. I can't see you, but I can feel you. And I can see your words if you leave a comment. So you can say hello and good morning and tell me what you are grateful for because this is Hug Nation Live. This is a daily gathering of like minded, open hearted people like you and me. And it is a chance to remember that we're not alone, to remind ourselves the world would rather hug you than hurt you, and to share gratitude, and to do a little intention setting of the kind of person that we want to be today so that we can focus on who we want to be instead of just being obsessed about our to do list. Let's first be focused on our to be list: kindness, patience, gifting, self care. That's who I'd like to be today. Good morning, Urban Monk. Urban Monk says, I am hurting today. Physically, mentally. I am so sorry to hear that. Hope that we can, in this time of gathering, find some little silver linings and find some gratitude. But there is nothing wrong with hurting, nothing wrong with not feeling okay. Urban Monk says, my adult daughter is struggling in my life. My adult daughter is struggling in life right now, and I feel like a failure as a parent. I'm struggling to find gratitude today. That is so, or that must be so difficult. I don't know what that is like, but I have friends who I have gone through chapters in their life and who are going through chapters in their life with with kids who are struggling, adult children. I have a close friend now whose son is been struggling with addiction for a long time, and it's been so difficult to watch them. But I mean, for him, you know, going through, I think what you're going through of you have to come to an acceptance and a surrender of what you have control over and what you don't. You can't save your children, um, and that it's can be heartbreaking, and it requires an amount of faith that you never really know if someone's struggles are actually long term the best thing that could ever happen to them. If you look back at your life, not you specifically, Urban Monk, but anyone, often we can look to our most difficult times, the times we're most challenged, we are most at our edge, as the places that shaped us into be the people that we are. The extreme illnesses, the loss of jobs, the heartbreak. Nobody wants those things to happen. But if you look back on your life, it's hard to imagine evolving to be the person you have the potential to be without those trials, without being broken down so that we could build ourselves back up. And I think it's much easier to have that acceptance in ourselves than it is to have it about the people we love. And even for ourselves, it's very difficult. But part of the path of personal growth is like, can I hold on to at least at some level the awareness that I don't know if this is good or bad for me right now? And it has the potential to be filled with a lesson that I cannot see in this moment. And we got to try to project that and realize that for the people that we love. And we don't know. We just don't know. One of things that Lisa says often that a teacher taught her is, "Do you trust God or don't you?" And I like to call that to mind when I feel like things aren't going the way I think they should or I want them to. So I'm sorry. I hope you are able to recognize that there are other things in life to enjoy, to have gratitude for, even while that one massive thing is terrible. That's part of the practice of gratitude is going like, "Oh my gosh, like I am so sick. I can't, it hurts to move, but I'm so grateful that I have a comfortable bed to lie in." Or I'm so grateful I have access to this medicine that is reducing my symptoms. Or that I have TV to watch. Good morning, Juan. Juan says, "I would like to hug the world by acts of kindness." Yes, more than normal today. Love it. I am grateful for a lovely interaction I had with Lisa this morning. I've been waking up before her the last few days, but I slept in today and she got up early. So she came in the house as I was stretching. It kind of scared me. But then we had a nice little kisses and cuddling check-in. I'm grateful we got a new bed yesterday. So I had my first night's sleep on the new bed and I slept great on it. Lisa slept pretty good, but there's a lot going on in her life and chemicals. So uh, she's been adjusting with sleep, but I think the bed is great. Urban Monk says, "Even though I'm fighting back tears, this is helping." I I think tears are appropriate. Speaking of tears, I am grateful for an experience I had this weekend at my retreat where a friend of mine, uh, then in the Monday morning, shared that his mother passed the night before while we were doing our meditation. And his mom had been in hospice for 4 years. She had dementia. And it was it was a joyous announcement. I can't remember the wording, but it was like my mom has returned home or something like that. And I was just I was just crying. And it wasn't it wasn't like sadness. It wasn't grief. I'd never met his mom. He wasn't sad as he was saying this. I mean, he was crying as well, but it was just the bigness of the transition, the bigness of the experience, the beauty and the preciousness of it all that just was so alive. That feeling of relief and sorrow and joyful memories and curiosity and wonder. But it was enjoyable as I was crying there and celebrating her transition. Anyone else have any gratitude they'd like to share? I'm still feeling super grateful for my new hanging planter here. And I'm grateful for a trip I went to a nursery, like a plant nursery, and Lowe's yesterday. I was trying to get some info on we've got some problems with we've got a massive amount of jade plants in our landscaping. Huge jade trees, basically, lots of them. And there's an area of the yard where they're all fallen down, and it looks like maybe they got damaged during a remodel that happened a few years ago. But I was trying to figure out if maybe there was a fungus or something. Like, do I need to remove these? And the guy didn't seem too concerned, although he didn't really look that closely at what I showed him. But he kind of waved it off, but I'm grateful that I got to go and get and then I got some other stuff to do some improvements to the yard. I made a little retaining wall. There's an area where it's just kind of dirt that goes onto the driveway, and every time it rains, more dirt flows onto the driveway. And so I got some pavers and made like a little retaining wall. So we'll see how that works. Good morning, Chris Ann. Chris Ann says, grateful to be heading to Afterburn for the first time in 2 years. The only burn I still attend, very small and deep in the woods of Florida. Cool. Deep in the woods in Florida. That sounds like the setting of a slasher film. But I'm sure that's not the case, and I'm sorry I even said that out loud. But if it's got woods, does that mean that means there's trees, and that sounds like a great place to be celebrating the 10 principles and getting together with fellow weirdos. That sounds awesome. Is that coming up when, this weekend? Good morning, high noon. Gerbot says, grateful for water from the sky. Is it raining where you are? Wow. Chrisanne saying, swamp. Lots of oaks spreading a canopy. Oh, cool. That sounds, I was thinking of a swamp when you said that. So great. Oh, that sounds beautiful. I don't know Florida very well. And, in my defense, the media does not paint Florida very well. I've only been a couple times. I've been to Hollywood, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale, and I think that's it. And I went in the summertime. So, yikes. Anyone else want to share something that they're grateful for, or more details about what you're grateful or what you're looking forward to about future adventures? I'm grateful that making plans for Asher to visit next month. That'll be delightful. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for water. I know that Gerbot just said water from the sky. And part of the retreat I went on last week, and they did a water ceremony. And which is a part of a number of indigenous traditions, and so they integrated teachings from certain traditions, and it was good to be brought back to awareness of how many people on this planet do not have access to clean water, and that how many people throughout history and currently on this planet, when they want water, they walk with a pail to a source of water. And so every bit of water that you use is hard earned, requires effort. And how easily we use water without any concern of scarcity or preciousness. Just turn on the hose, turn on the faucet, flush the toilet. It's just so easy. And as we're looking towards a world where our technologies are going to require massive amounts of water, and as corporations seem to be putting their flagging, putting a stake and claiming and owning the reservoirs of clean water in this world, um, I think we will look back and remember those sweet times when water was so plentiful. But it is water is literally the blood of the earth. It is what keeps this planet, brings life. So what makes life possible. So it makes our life possible. It is we can go many days without food, but not so long without water. It is the most healing substance, medicine on this planet. And it is that's this ever-present gift. And so even though we have easy access to it, I think it's really helpful to remember to be grateful. It is so easy for me to make a cup of tea. Water is life, says High Noon. Eric, good day to you. Congratulations. Eric says 52 days clean. Congratulations. And uh, that feels wrong to say congratulations because you're not like celebrating like a milestone. But at least for me, when I say that, what I'm saying is like, bravo. And I honor your choice, and I honor your conviction, and I honor and appreciate your willingness to do something hard because you know it's what's right and best for you. I'll This came up recently when I was talking to somebody, and I'll share with you that one of the more helpful things for me was I had a sign that I've had on my door. Anytime I left the house or when I was walking around my house, I would see, and it said, "What's at stake?" And then I listed the things in my life that would not realize their potential or would be harmed or hampered or minimized if I return to my addiction. I had my relationships, my health, my potential. I don't remember exactly how I phrase things, but just because in addiction, the mind, the addict mind, the chemically altered mind says that those sacrifices and those compromises are worth it. But when you can, from a higher mind state, from a place of clarity, you can say, actually, that's I can't risk. I mean, my relationship with my family, the respect of my peers, my ability to be proud of myself, my feeling of integrity, like these things are all at stake. If I like, no, I don't. That high is not worth these fundamental aspects of what makes life worth living. And so that daily reminder was very helpful for me in the beginning and continues to be, something that I lean into and go, "Oh, I enjoyed that." But if I compare it to what's at stake, then I it's so much easier for me to say no. Not 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 today, Satan. Anyone else want to share anything that they are grateful for? As I catch myself in the mirror, I am grateful for Lisa's patience with my grooming. Chris says, grateful for all modern conveniences. Turn on the furnace and warmth. Flick a switch and light. Press a level. Plumbing. Thank God I don't have to venture to an outhouse. Spin a dial. Fire. Something early man struggled with containing. Really, I mean, it is really remarkable what we consider to be just baseline, what even in poverty, most people have access to those things you described, which isn't to say that we shouldn't work to lift everyone up higher out of poverty, and which isn't to say that we need to do some serious adjustments to wealth distribution. But even as we are frustrated and angry that we can't afford more amenities or whatever it is that we want, the things that we have, this water, this fire, this heat, this plumbing, this the, uh, you know, ability to avoid insect and animal bites. Those are pretty good, pretty good. And as we seek to make our lives better, it is really helpful to also remember what's already great. Gratitude is a yes and practice. Well, I am grateful for a fairly easeful day today. Got a few appointments, and I'm grateful because I'm feeling a little slow today. Nothing wrong with that. And I'm grateful that we have a chance to connect and remind each other that we're not alone on this journey of I started that sentence without knowing where I was going. What is this a journey of? A journey of becoming ourselves, of finding our gifts and sharing them, of celebrating our authenticity, of cheerleading others as they're on their journeys, of connecting to source, of removing the obstacles to our open hearts, of healing our traumas, of forgiving ourselves and others, of freeing ourselves from anxieties and learning to trust and open our hearts and share our gifts. Thanks for being a part of that journey. Hello, Amy. Amy says, grateful for family, friends, food, and those modern conveniences. Would love to give back this Thanksgiving. Any places to volunteer during the holidays? Uh, Good question. I know that most charities would love if you were able to help on other weeks, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think they tend to have, um, a flood of volunteers and donations. So, but uh, if you, I don't know if I'm in San Diego, I would imagine if you reached out to uh, Father Joe, or what's the other big, big local one? I'm drawing a blank, but I don't know anything specific that to recommend. For Saturdays, we'll be doing our things for Saturdays, but we don't do a specific Thanksgiving event. If we can, then we do serve a nicer meal on Thanksgiving, or whatever's closest to Thanksgiving, which would be our December one. But uh, I I hope you find a perfect way to feel connected and of service. Gerbot says, I enjoy a channel called Primitive Technology, and this guy makes fire by friction, and I am always impressed and grateful for the ease of access I have to fire. Of the many times I've tried to do it, I've been humbled at the difficulty. Yeah, I don't know that channel, but I occasionally will watch these like ho- uh, time lapse photos of people making houses out of mud and logs and whatever they can find in the jungle or the forest they are, and it's so entertaining and compelling and amazing to me. And they'll often, at one point they'll make a chimney and then start a fire in their place that's heating this mud house they're making. Mingle says, "Good morning. I love you. I love you too. I just want you to know how much I love and appreciate you. I know I tell you every day, and I really want you to sink in today. You're an extraordinary human being, and I'm glad you're in my life and on this planet spreading good news, love, and joy." Thank you. Go about clarifying it. He's yet to be successful at making fire without a lighter or matches. I don't think I've never have either. Juan says, "I'm grateful in the journey for moving forward." Gervas, that guy was the OG who inspired those other ones. Cool. I may have even seen it may have been his videos that somebody reposted. And Amy, I I hope that didn't come across the wrong way. That there's it's it's a anytime that you can volunteer is awesome. And even if there is a lot of volunteers on a holiday, that's great too, because anytime somebody who has needs sees that there's a lot of people that are showing up to help, that feels good. So all help is good. Even just attention, there's certain parts of my drive that I pass where there's almost always, like not almost, there's always somebody, but it's a different, there's like a collective of people that are asking for money on this off ramp. And I never give money at off ramps, but I try, if I can, to nod and look them in the eyes and just so that I acknowledge that they're there. And yeah, I guess I was just trying to think of there's ways to be of service that are teeny tiny things that don't require, making a batch of burritos and giving them to people in the streets, which is a great thing to do, or giving them clean socks. But you can't do that for everybody, but you can acknowledge someone's existence, and you can that can make a difference too. All right. Any last gratitudes anybody want to share? Anything that they're looking forward to or feeling grateful for? I am so grateful for the cooler weather, grateful for the opportunities to wear jackets and do work outside and not be just overheated and sweaty all the time. I love this time of year in San Diego for sure. And I love my home. So grateful for this place. Heinun says, I'm grateful for the local, smaller farms across the world. Here, here. That has got to be a tough existence trying to compete with the industrial farms. But what a what a valiant pursuit of creating food, of harnessing the energy of the sun and making crops and plants I should say energy of the sun and the water to take us full circle. So thank you for the water. Thank you to the sun. Thank you to the winds. Thank you to the earth. Thank you to the creatures, the mycelium. Thank you to all the people. May we all be free, free from suffering. May we all be free to love. And with that, wherever you are, let's give ourselves a squeeze, appreciating our bodies, appreciating this moment, appreciating that we get to be connected to one another and exploring this incredible opportunity of life and consciousness on this beautiful, fertile planet. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and squeeze yourself. Imagine that we are squeezing each other. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us here, thanks for being here for Hug Nation Live. Let's all drink some water. I will be here tomorrow on Friday, and then I'm gonna head out to another retreat. So I'll be gone for the weekend, but I will see you tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Urban Monk. Sending you an extra long hug.